Hey everybody, welcome back to American English Online. I'm Chris, your American English teacher on YouTube. Today is part 2 in our series about memes. You can click here for part 1, which talks a little bit more about the structure of memes as a learning device. But today we're going to focus on implementing memes into your classroom so you can have a little bit of fun with your students in a way that definitely connects them with this day and age. So this video is for you teachers. Come with me. Before we talk about practical application of memes in the classroom or in a lesson plan, let's do a quick recap on the structure. Basically, memes have a premise or a theme, or maybe you want to call it an objective. And they also follow a pattern. And they usually use specific language in specific memes, or they're open-ended. And being open-ended just means that you can write whatever you want as long as what you're saying conveys an idea that makes sense with the picture. Let's see some quick examples of each before we get into classroom application. The first one is called Brace Yourself, and it has specific language at the beginning and at the end. The premise is that you have to prepare yourself psychologically for something ridiculous or irrational that you know is going to happen at a specific time every year. And the language that's used is brace yourself, which, you need to know what brace means. And also it comes in a variation, brace yourselves. So it just depends on how it's used. And then something, something, something is coming. For example, brace yourself. New Year's gym resolutions are coming. So that's something I saw from a personal trainer, and I also saw it on a gym website. New Year rolls around and you get a bunch of people making all kinds of promises. Oh, I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat healthy, right? So you can explore both the idea behind the meme and the language. For the language, you can explore reflexive pronouns, brace yourself or brace yourselves. You can also talk about the agreement at the end, like is coming, depending on what came before, is coming or are coming. And you can also explore seasonal behaviors or annoyance. The next one uses Boromir. I think he's from Lord of the Rings. Anyway, it's called One Does Not Simply. It has specific language at the beginning, but it's open-ended. The premise here is that often people don't treat things like complex issues when they should. And then they give bad advice based on that, or they oversimplify solutions. For instance, one does not simply get a girlfriend. I think we can all agree that it isn't as simple as just wanting one. Or, one does not simply learn English in 6 weeks. And you can see this one makes fun of the fact that people think they're just going to learn English in 6 weeks just because someone says, hey, you can learn English in 6 weeks with my course. We all know that that's total BS, but people say it. So one does not simply learn English in 6 weeks. And this meme is interesting because it can explore the expectations people have of something or misconceptions that people have. And you can also explore the structure side, like one does not. So one is an impersonal pronoun. And you can explore adverbs. One does not simply. Okay, so there's a lot you can do with this meme in the classroom. The last one is Captain Picard from Star Trek. And this one is completely open-ended, no specific language. And the premise is that something can be so frustrating or irritating that it makes the person confused as to why that's happening or how it's even possible. How did you get a license without understanding turn signals? We've all seen these fools on the road. They confuse other drivers and they often cause accidents. Since this is an open-ended meme, You can explore whatever language you've chosen to use or whatever you've found. But the point is that you can explore frustration or irritation in any topic. So let's get down to brass tacks. How do we introduce memes in class? Well, the good news is that when you're using memes, it's going to be really easy to please people. Most people enjoy it and have fun. But let's follow some pretty standard best practices for introducing new material. I like to break it down into 5 steps. The first step is to choose an existing meme or create your own based on your target language needs, subject appropriateness, and obviously student level. You can find some links to meme generators down here in the description. And basically, it'll give you a template and you can write whatever you want. The second step is in class. Now remember, you haven't shown them the meme yet, that one you created. So you ask them questions from simple to complex. A simple question would be, what is a meme? A complex question would be, what is a premise? Now, you're going to ask them a plethora of other questions. For example, what different kinds of memes have they seen? Or have they created? Because some of them, I'm sure, especially the kids, they've created some. Ask them why they created the meme. And ask them why they thought it would be funny. So talking about memes and experiences, it's going to lead people into understanding premise and all those kinds of things. Step 3 now is to show them the meme. And you're going to start again by asking them to describe the picture. So we're going to start simple and get more complex. So they describe the picture, what's happening in the picture, or what action is being taken by someone in the picture. A second question would be, how do you think the person feels? Are they determined? Are they happy? Are they skeptical? Are they irritated? How is that person feeling? Irritated, whatever. And you're going to also discuss the vocabulary because they need to understand what's being said so they can kind of get a feeling for either the joke or the contradiction or the basic premise. The fourth step is to give them a blank template. Now they're creating. And you're going to give them the premise and the language that you want them to use that you've modeled in your original. And this is where you're going to decide if everyone is going to use the same one as you or if they can use an original template as long as it accomplishes the same goals. And that's really based on your target language needs and your student's level. And the fifth point is sharing. So these are great assignments to like pin up on the wall because the students will see them all the time and they're funny most of the time. Or you could have a little competition to see who got the assignment right the best or had the funniest meme but also used the language, that kind of thing. Just be careful with younger kids. It can turn into a popularity contest. But with older teens, adults, it's still fun for them and you don't have that problem. But first, for sharing, each student or group, because this can be done in a group, should share why they chose the topic they chose and how it's relevant to the premise. For example, the Captain Picard meme. It's about something that's unbelievably ridiculous. It shouldn't happen, or I don't understand why people can't just use their blinkers. But why did I choose blinkers? Why, is that something that personally annoys me very much? Am I upset that people get into accidents so often because of it? You see what I mean? So have them explain why they chose that topic to go with that premise. So that's a wrap, my friends. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a comment. Tell me how you use memes in your classroom, if you do. If you have a different idea of how to implement that in your class, how did your students respond? And of course, give me a thumbs up, help the channel grow, and don't forget to check back, subscribe. We always have some cool new videos, whether it's for teachers or for students. It's always worthwhile to check back. Okay? So, as always, let's practice. To help your students learn, help your students learn English.